Hello warriors, welcome to the You Movement. I am B, and today we're hopping on to video number 2 to do a recap and an edit and a live reaction. And this one is entitled Cultivating Bliss. And I had mentioned in the last video that I was filming these, and the date was August the 18th, 2021, which was a month, just over a month before my Kundalini, and that's when I was in this bliss, and then I hit my Kundalini and it went vroom. Deep dive into Dark Night of the Soul. So at the time, here I'm making a video entitled Cultivating Bliss, and I didn't even realize that I was in what is known as the bliss phase on a spiritual awakening. I've done a lot of videos on the Dark Night of the Soul, and a lot of videos even on the void phases of your spiritual awakening, but I haven't done a lot of videos on bliss because it was a relatively short period of time. The year of 2021 kind of starting in January and then up until September 25th, I had my Kundalini. So we're working our way towards it, and let's take a look at this one. It's short. Hi. God, I look young. In comparison, I feel so weathered after these last few years. It's really taken a lot out of me. It really has. I do hope to get some of that vibrancy back again now that I'm coming out the other end of what has been a really long stretch in Dark Night of the Soul. Let's go back to being in bliss.
So one of the things that I certainly didn't do enough of, and maybe you're the same, that most people like to sacrifice their time and their energy to pursuits and career, family, obligations, and all the things, and then by the end of the day we're exhausted. So one thing, we're not giving ourselves bliss. And bliss is hugely important to your overall health and well-being. It's not something I have been familiar with for most of my life, but it's become a new friend of mine now, and I gotta say, taking time each day to have just a teeny tiny little bit of bliss is hugely beneficial in switching the outlook from always dark and dreary if you happen to suffer from depression, or judgmental if you're critical on yourself, to allowing space for just some joy. Now, when I talk about bliss, it's going to be a different thing for different people. For me, anything to do with water is my bliss. And when COVID started, I had booked a 3-week holiday to Costa Rica, a lifetime dream trip to stay in a tree house near monkeys. It was just going to be incredible. But of course, I couldn't do that. We had to cancel the trip. So instead, we took some of that money and invested in a hot tub. So at the moment, it's a cool tub because it's summertime for me. This is my ocean. If you live near an ocean or lake, you are very, very lucky. For me, it was finding a way to create my own little piece of bliss in my backyard because, well, I've been stuck here for a really long time. So this is where I come to like chill out and just feel bliss. I have a rule here. There's no judgment allowed in here, and no critical thinking allowed in here, and no negativity allowed in here. It's like you step foot into the framework of the square, and it's a healing place of calm tranquility where I can come and rebalance. The jets are great for muscular issues that have come. This may not be your bliss. You may be a real fire person, or like somebody who, and then maybe you need to get yourself a fire pit for your backyard. Maybe you're a camper. I don't know, maybe you want to set up your tent out in the backyard. We got to do whatever we can do to keep our sanity. So my second challenge for you is find your bliss. What is your bliss? Where do you feel absolute peace? Imagine yourself in the most tranquil or peaceful place. Where is that? Create a little bit of bliss in your life so that you can counterbalance all the other shit. So there's my little tip for today, and I'm gonna go put the jets on now. Bye.
Absolutely, cultivating bliss. That was a whole new thing for me, to be able to do something joyful every single day. I had been in a state of depression for such an extended period of time. Pulling myself out of that depression through walking and through discipline of very, very strict no sugar diet, and through doing activities like allowing myself to just do one thing a day that was going to provide me with just an ounce of pleasure, was a real huge, powerful shift in my mindset from this is, the square, this is the box that I'm in and I can't escape from, to navigating out of that and saying, hey, wait a second, my life doesn't need to be this bullshit that I'm living. This started me down, I was just in the beginning phases of starting down a path leading me to a lot of not bliss. And that's when I discovered that really to cultivate bliss, it's a two-part part of the process. One, we want to aim towards blissful things, but we also need to release the less than blissful things. We need to purge. So the purging has yet to begun, but the cultivating has already begun in this stage here of the bliss. And that's when the world opens up to you and you think to yourself, I don't need to live how I've been living. There are options. I can change. Change is possible. All of these types of motivational, just do one thing every single day kind of attitude is going to get you a little bit closer and a little bit closer and a little bit closer. If you do one small little activity for yourself and start learning, she's talking about self-sacrifice, putting everybody else's needs ahead. And when you start to say, hey, wait a second, I need to fill the cup again, huge change comes about, massive. My entire life doesn't look the same. I wish I could tell her that she's going to be still stuck at home for a good few more years. So what are you guys doing to cultivate a little bit of bliss in your life? Is it art? Is it exercise? Is it singing? Is it having a hot tub? Going for a hike? What brings you a little tiny little piece of joy in otherwise what can be very dark and dreary times, especially when you're going through an awakening? It's very challenging to raise that so-called vibe, when you're going into the dark stuff. When you're going into the muck to unfuck, it's hard to also ascend to the heights of happiness. But if you can find one or two little things that you can do, it will help you a lot along this way. And I even need that reminder myself, because sometimes when you're going through the next couple of phases, which is the dark night of the soul and the void, it gets a lot more challenging to maintain cultivating bliss. But it's a good thing for us to all remember. So here's to you cultivating a little bit of bliss. I look forward to hearing your comments, and if you have any questions, feel free to drop them. If you want to get in touch with me, you can do. The way to do that will be in the description below. Otherwise, it is justbeing@gmail.com. That's just with the and then letter B, being@gmail.com, or you can hop into this Spiritual Warriors support group over there on Facebook. The link for that is in the description below. And you can find me and direct message me on Facebook, direct messenger, B Freedom, B as in the bumblebee. That said, peace out, dudes.